Meeting of the Dougherty County School Board, board briefing. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any presentation or public comments?
Yes, ma'am. We have two presentations today. First will be an annual presentation of our audit, the 2025 audit by Ms. Hope Pendergrass, partnered with Marlin and Jenkins CPA. So, Ms. Pendergrass.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. Are we on now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
on.
sir.
Well, good morning again. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you today. I believe you have been handed out a copy of two bound documents. One of those is our your annual financial report, and then we have our auditor's discussion and analysis. I'm going to start with the annual financial report. And I'm going to give you a brief overview, and then I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. If you flip past the table of contents, the first page that has our Malden Jenkins logo in the top left corner. That is our independent auditor's report, or our opinion, and you'll see in our second paragraph there, it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. That's what you want. That is an unmodified opinion. That's the best that you can get. So commendation to the board, management, and the finance team for the job that they do in making sure your financial statements are presented fairly and correctly. If we turn to page 5, that is your management's discussion and analysis. That is where management has taken the opportunity to compare the results of your fiscal year 25 to fiscal year 24 and talk to you about what the changes are. They also talk about current budgeting issues, current economic conditions. I always recommend, if you're going to read anything in the report, please read this, because it does give you a snapshot summary that management prepares that tells you about the information in the report. If you flip to page 16, this is your statement of net position, otherwise known as your balance sheet. So this is where you were at one point in time. That was June 30th of 2025. As you'll see there down at the bottom, it shows your total net position was $145 million. And so that is the net difference between your assets and your liabilities. You'll notice there that there's an unrestricted negative number. A lot of people get worked up and ask me about that. So a few years ago, you all were required to implement GASB, GASB's related to pension, and then later GASB related to OPEB, or other post-employment benefits. And so now GASB, which is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, that's the board that regulates how we do accounting for governments, has said that as a participant in the teacher's retirement system and as a participant in the state health benefit plan, you all are required to report your share of the liability for those plans. It doesn't change your contribution rate. It doesn't change what you're doing as far as you making your contributions for your employees like you're supposed to do. You're just required to show your share of the liability, which is going to be the difference in the assets the plan has to pay out all the claims and all the retirement and stuff like that. Because there's a difference in the assets and the liabilities that they think they're going to need to give everybody what they're entitled to when they retire, or what medical claims that they have. You'll see those two liabilities right there in your liability section, net OPEB and net pension. If you didn't have those, which is a financial reporting requirement, you all would have net position of about $388 million. So that just shows you go from 145 to 388 without that. Flipping over to page 19. This is your traditional fund level balance sheet. This is going to look more similar to what you're probably used to seeing. In your general fund, we do summarize both the general fund as well as your federal programs, including school nutrition. And so that fund reported a total fund balance of $52.8 million. And I usually tell people, fund balance is not necessarily cash. Fund balance is equity, meaning the net difference between the assets that you have and the liabilities that you own, kind of like the equity in your home. But you all are actually very liquid at this date. You all had cash at the top of the page of about $53 million. So your fund balance literally was cash at the time. So that's very, very strong. On page 21, it shows you your total expenditures for the year and your revenues, kind of where the money came from and where the money went. So if you compare your total expenditures in the general fund of about $233.8 million for the year versus your ending fund balance, you all had reserves of about 12 weeks of operations. Now this assumes that you spend equally across all weeks of the year, which of course we do not. We have expenditure ebbs and flows throughout the year. But if you expended equally, you'd have about 12 weeks of fund balance. Again, that's very strong considering the fact that this is one of your leanest times of year because you kind of collected all your property tax, you're getting ready to start school, property taxes haven't been levied and started collecting. So you would think that June 30th is your leanest time of year, but your leanest time of year is actually looking very strong from a financial standpoint. If you flick over to page 23, this is your budget to actual, which again shows you kind of how you did based on what you thought you were going to bring in and spend versus what you actually brought in and spent. And you'll notice the third line from the bottom in the variance column, the far right column, that shows you at a variance of about 8.5 million. So you all thought that you were going to use a lot of your fund balance in fiscal year 25, as most school districts are doing now, because with the sunset of the ESSER funds and the increase in your benefit costs, like your state help, like your TRS, a lot of people are going into fund balance. So you all did use some of your fund balance, about 1.4 million, but you did not use nearly as much as you anticipated that you were going to. Now, after that, there are several pages of footnotes. This gives you additional information about the numbers presented in the front. There are lots of pages about pension and OPEB. So if you want to know more about the TRS plan, or you want to know more about the state health benefit plan and what benefits are provided to your employees and your retirees, that information is included there. I'm going to skip over to page 73 and 74. So this page gives you a 10-year snapshot of your TRS contributions that you all as a district have had to contribute. So on the far right page in 2016, it will show that you all as an employer contributed about 11.2 million for TRS. That was your portion. And that was based on a rate of 14.21% of employee pay. Now going over to the left page, the far left number for 2025, that shows you at 21 million. So in 10 years, y'all have increased the contribution amount to your TRS plan by about 10 million. Now, some of that is a result of the rate increase. The rate has increased from 14.21 to this year, it was 20.78. I think now it's inching up over 21%. But your covered payroll also increased. Your payroll in 2016 was about 78.9 million. Now it's over 101 million. So some of that's a result of payroll increases and possibly staffing increases. But that's also just pointing out the additional amount that the local school districts are having to pay to contribute to those benefit plans for their employees. So I just think this is a point. I know a lot of times management is probably talking with you about, hey, our TRS costs are going up, our state health costs are going up. This is a representation to actually show you, yes, it is going up. On page 97, '96 and 97. This shows you a detail of all the federal grants that you all receive and that you all expended during the year. Y'all get a significant amount of federal funding. On page 97, your total for the year was about 41.8 million. So of your total budget, you all have about 41.8 million that you spent in 2025 on your various federal awards, just your school nutrition program, your Title I program, your special ed program, various other programs that you have. It also includes the last probably of the ESSER money of about 5.5 million. So we also do an audit of your federal programs. We don't look at every program every year. We look at programs on a risk-based approach, what's been audited, what might have more risk than others. So for this audit year, we looked at your school nutrition program, your Gear Up program, and also your special ed program. So out of that 41.8 million, those three programs were about 18.3, or about 44%. And we found everything to be in order with those programs as well. So that's kind of the summary of your financial report. In your auditor's discussion and analysis, I'm not going to go into it in detail. We are required by auditing standards to communicate certain things to the board. These items are included in the auditor's discussion and analysis. We have a brief introduction about Malden Jenkins in there. We talk about, we are independent of the school district. We experience no issues getting information from the school district. Management was able to give us representation without any issue. So those disclosures are included in there. We have a brief snapshot overview of the financials, just a summary, but again, your management's discussion and analysis is going to have more in there. We talk about upcoming GASB standards. Again, the GASB is the body that regulates kind of how we account for things. And so they are constantly changing their accounting rules. And so when we find out that there's going to be a new change, we like to include that information in this document so that you all kind of know, hey, these changes are coming down the pipe that may impact how our audit looks, how our financial reporting looks. We also talk about our free continuing education that we provide to our clients because we realize that there's an ever-changing landscape within the accounting industry, and we want to make sure that everyone is informed. So we appreciate that your staff has had an opportunity to participate in those with us, and so we can make sure that everybody knows what the changes are and what best practices are so that we can be in a constant kind of mindset of how can we improve, how can we change. So we also have one recommendation in here. That recommendation relates to fund balance. State law, as you are probably aware, currently says that you cannot maintain more than 15% of fund balance as compared to your next year's expenditure. So I talked about how strong your fund balance is. You're currently exceeding your state limit on your fund balance, as many school districts are, because again, we still had a lot of ESSER money coming in, and a lot of people are hanging on to their fund balance because they know costs have increased. And so they're trying to maintain some of their property taxes, and so they're maintaining that fund balance so that they can use that to kind of stabilize the budget while we wait for the economy to kind of fill out. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Board members, do you have any questions? Mr. Bush?
Yes, ma'am, I think it's real healthy to have a little money on the side. Can you tell us how we can continue to be good stewards of the Dougherty County taxpayers and not just spend, as Mr. Dyer has led us in that effort? How can we not have more than 15% and maintain that continuity?
Well, I will tell you, I personally don't think 15% is enough. So I don't agree with the law. Because 15% is only about 6 weeks of reserves. So if you think about in your personal budget, if you only had 6 weeks of reserve and you had a medical event, that would be hard for you. So with a school district of this size, 15% is extremely lean. So we don't opine on business decisions, but I would tell you that, keep considering that there are several costs that you all bear for which you have no control. You don't have a control over what the TRS contribution rate is. You just have to pay it. And the state funds that at some level, but not for all of your positions and not for your classified positions. Your state health costs, between 2023 and now, your state health costs have doubled per employee. You were contributing $945 per employee per month. Now it's up to close to $2,000. So I would invite you to consider as part of your budgeting process that, again, there are several costs that you all have no control over. And also that salary and benefits are 90% of most school districts' budgets. So in order to make meaningful change in your budget, it's going to involve changes to your personnel. So when you're considering, hey, where can we cut? Meaningful cuts normally only come from salary, from personnel, unfortunately. You can make a dent in operations, but your personnel are going to be where cuts, if they have to be made, are going to have to be made. So did that help at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
Any other board members having a question? Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Pendergrass. We appreciate that information. I agree with you. 15% is not enough. The Government Finance Officers Association also agrees with you. They recommend at least 60 days of reserves, and that's about 20%, 25%. And so, fortunately, state law just passed the last session that increases that limit to 25%.
Okay,
Yes.
I knew it was being discussed. I
Right.
did not know it had been passed.
Right,
Thank
so
you
it
for
was
that.
passed, so that's good news. And as much as I respect you and Martin and Jenkins, I wasn't worried about their recommendation going below 15%. Because like you said, you did it because it was state law.
Yes, sir.
And you, I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but 15% certainly is not enough in this day and age. We certainly appreciate your hard work and dedication to bring that to us, and we consider Martin and Jenkins a independent partner, because a lot of times when people see auditors coming, they like to run the other way. We don't, because we know that they're here to make sure that we are good stewards of the taxpayer dollars, and that if they see anything that needs correcting, they let us know, and we get those done. Fortunately, due to the hard work of our amazing finance team led by Ms. Hatcher, who's not here. Her birthday was yesterday, so happy belated birthday to Ms. Hatcher. Ms. Yolanda Carter, our finance director, please stand up. Miss Aja Lane, our budget coordinator, stand up. Miss Janet Hayes, our accounting coordinator, please stand up. And in her absence, Ms. Nashay Cox, who's our payroll coordinator, they make up the leadership of our finance department to do a great job day to day. And even when I come down to bother them on the second floor, because I miss being down there sometimes, I go back down every now and then just to bother them. They accommodate me and humor me for a little bit. So thank you very much for your hard work and dedication. And we're fast on the way to getting ready for the FY26 audit. So looking forward to that. So thank you very much. Hope for your information, your input, and thank you, board members, for your leadership and governance as it relates to our finances. We are in a very strong position. Not all student systems can say that. Not all governments can say that. We are, but we don't have all smooth sailing ahead. We do have some challenges ahead of us, and a healthy reserve lets you navigate that without making drastic decisions.
I think that'll be
Immediately.
even more important as we figure out what the true impacts of the changes to House Bill 581 will be as well.
Yes, ma'am. And that's part of what we're going to talk about. We just got our reassessments done, and I think the notices start going out. And yeah, I know
They're
one person.
already out.
Yeah, at least one person had a 77% increase in their property valuation. And I said, if I could sell my property for that, I'd sell it right now.
Yeah, I got some oceanfront in Arizona,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, so we have some challenges that but I share everything with my board, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the things that keep me up at night, they keep you up at night too. But we have a plan to address those challenges, and it helps when money's not everything, but it certainly helps when you have a little bit. And the fact that we have some, I want to thank you again. That goes to good governance and good leadership. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank y'all.
Can you hold just a
Miss
second?
Pendergrass.
Is Fran still with y'all?
Fred Martin? Yeah, he retired 2 years ago.
Okay, I'm sorry, but
Oh,
Fran
he's doing
Sharp-
good though. He still comes in. We see him sometimes.
well,
But yeah, he retired
Fran
2 years
Sharp
ago.
kept me straight for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I just want to say thank you for adjusting you guys' schedule to do my interview
Oh, yeah.
normally. So I appreciate that.
No
That shows
problem.
professionalism. So
Yes,
again,
ma'am.
thank you for all you guys do
Yes, thank
for our
you.
department.
All right, let us know if you need us.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Dyer.
All right. And next, we have Dr. Finley, who's going to present an adjustment to one of our recently adopted policies.
Good morning. Good morning. To the esteemed Board of Education, Superintendent, Mr. Dyer, district, school leadership, families, students, parents. It's an honor to come before you today, to provide an update regarding our policy revision process. Before you, you have policy GARH, which is employee leaves and absences. You have had a chance to review this policy a couple times. Today, we're recommending addition to this particular policy. And the reason for that is House Bill 1118, which speaks to maternity birth leave. So we want to ensure that we include this in our comprehensive leave policy. You can find that language on the back, starting on the back of your second page, and I have it in blue. So the black language has already been adopted. The blue language is the new language that we would like for you to consider as first read. So we're providing this to you as a first read for you to review, and we will come back before you for questions and concerns that you may or may not have. But I did want to ensure that this came before you today. A little bit about this particular, this bill, just a couple of details about it. The purpose of it is to provide recovery for mothers who have delivered a child. And they're, within that, it's 120 hours, which equates to 15 days. And employees are eligible whether they have met the requirements for paid leave or not. They're eligible. Now, one important fact for maternal paid leave is that it has to happen immediately. The 3 weeks kicks in immediately after the mother gives birth. So that 3 weeks is immediately after the mother gives birth. So it can't be, they take 20 hours right after they give birth and then come back and take, 40 hours of the remainder later. It's immediately after they give birth. So I want to make sure that I lifted that point as well. It can run concurrently with other federal leave processes that we have. FMLA, for example, I'll use that as an example. They can run concurrently with that or not. I do have language in there that speaks to that. Also, language is within here, and again, this is a draft, so questions and revisions definitely may come. But language that speaks to it not extending the contractual days for employee, meaning not paying for weekends, paying for the actual contractual days as it relates to this particular policy in law. So those are a couple facts about it. As it relates to qualifying, employees must have completed at least 6 months continuous work with our district. And for hourly workers, they're required to have a minimum of 700 hours within that 6 months. So I already mentioned it's 120 hours, which equates to 3 weeks. And so that's the gist of this particular policy that we are recommending to you for a first read. And we will come back before you again, if allowed, for questions that you may have. At this point, are there any questions before I close out?
Any questions from board members?
I have one. Is this eligible to male employees too?
No.
This one is not?
No.
Okay, all right. I know there is one federal law that allows their fathers to take
Paid parental leave.
paid parental leave.
So we have a
that
policy.
This is different.
This is
than
different.
paid parental. I just want to make sure this
Yeah,
is different than paid parental
yeah.
leave. This is just for the mothers.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Mr. Dyer. Our paid parental leave policy is for, it could be for a birth, it can be for foster if you are becoming a foster parent. So it can be, it's more broad, and it does apply for male and for female. For you to qualify for that, it's the same as it relates to continuous work for 6 months. And if you're hourly, 700 hours within that 6 months. Yes, ma'am.
Under the family medical leave, now this is where when, like, for instance, a spouse and his wife, she's of course pregnant. She can use 6 and he can use 6 to make it equal 12. Are we still,
That's within the policy.
I'm sorry?
That's within, you're saying like they can, if they both are employees of the district?
Yes, they're,
Yes, but they can't, they both get their time, I'll put it that way.
right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions for Dr. Penn? Mr. Dyer?
No, ma'am, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Any other presentation, Mr. Dyer?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Board members, we will review the agenda items to give board members an opportunity to ask questions or make comments. We will need an executive session to discuss personnel and property.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other one.
No, but I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions, comments about the agenda? Agenda item, mid-month board meeting, August 10th, 2026. Question? Item 2. I know one of the board members had a question about community coaches.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
What is that policy, and do we have to continue that on, or is there something we need to look at too?
I mean, what's
They
the
want to
question?
looking at what we're doing and how they, in the training that they have to take to.
Yeah, well,
Go forward.
that's governed by the Georgia High School Association. All community coaches have to go through the community coaches class and take the community coaches test. What we implemented last year with the Dougherty County school system is that all community coaches had to come to the board for approval as well. All volunteer community coaches had to come to the board for approval as well. Technically, if you're not in a certified position, you're considered a community coach. So if you're a para, you're still considered a community coach by Georgia High School Association. But they've already been board approved as employees, so they don't have to come to the board as a community coach. But volunteer community coaches who are not employees of the school system have to come to the board for approval. And that is for several reasons, to make sure that all of the prerequisites have been covered versus the school just having someone bring them on board as a community coach and not having checked all the boxes. We make sure they have their background checks. Dr. Finley presented during the volunteer, the policy that we have 2 levels of volunteers. One, if you do general volunteer work, going to a school to read the classes, things like that, on a regular basis, doing tutoring with groups, you have a background check. If you are volunteering and have access to students that might be unsupervised, you get a background check and your fingerprints as an employee would. So community coaches will go through the second level, the more rigorous background checks. So that's not required by Georgia High School Association. It is required by us to ensure that we do a thorough background check on everybody with access to our students. I don't know, you said community coaches, you didn't give any specifics, so I'm assuming I just give you a general overview. Did that cover the question? Or something more specific that you want to know about?
Does that answer the questions? And the other questions was, can we look at the requirements, and if we need, can we add another level of protection from our district to allow some extra additional training?
Mike?
Management, you want to finish, Mr. Bush?
I just wanted to ask, I almost call him Brother Dye, Mr. Dye. A question here. Mr. Dye, to me, if I'm a principal of a school, and if Kim were to volunteer to come into that school, and it might be an appearance, because she's dead now, but I'm using her as a hypothetical. it might appear to be a conflict of interest. And I think that to avoid even the appearance of conflict of interest, community coaches and all community volunteers should go to another school to volunteer, in my opinion. And that'll just curtail, Mr. Lawyer, the appearance of impropriety. No one can go and say, Bush did this because of his wife. You see, the appearance. And that would take out some of the clique. The appearance, in my opinion.
So if there's possible, can you send out the guidelines?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we can.
Yeah, we hear the board policies, or the board wants to change the policy, then we'll operate within the policy. So I'll
And that
send it out
was
to you. I think that's governed more so by the nepotism policy that the board has, and that does not deal with volunteers. But if the board wants to add that and any other provisions, then we'll certainly adhere to it.
Okay. And any other questions about community coaches? Okay, board member, are you good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Number 3, recommendation of release of personnel. Any questions? Hearing none. 4, consideration, recommendation, approval of purchase of school nutrition services and vehicle purchases. Any questions?
The question is that on that or something else?
Yes.
What is that question?
I'm finna ask that now. Mr. Fennessy, did you want to ask your question about the outside vehicles outside the city?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is this: can we, as a board, how can I say, require those that take vehicles home, they drive them home? Can we make a policy that they can't drive it outside of Dougherty County if they live in another county?
We certainly, the board can make that, yes, sir, the board can make that policy if they want to. They certainly can. We do have some employees who live outside of Dougherty County, and if they have a need for a take-home vehicle, in my opinion, I think that shouldn't prevent them from driving home, particularly if they're in a position where they need a rapid response. So usually our facility, all of our public safety personnel, each police officer, I know we had that question, somebody had that question, I think it was you that had that question about the take-home vehicles. Yeah, every police officer every SRO has a take-home vehicle. We did a few years ago make a decision to limit that to just the command staff and those who are on call. But we learned because of some incidents that happened, the response time was delayed because they would have to leave their residence, go to the headquarters to get the vehicle, and then respond. And we said it's just not worth it. Every moment counts when we responded to an emergency. So now all of them take their vehicles home again, and certain facilities personnel take their vehicles home if they will be called in a response to a water pipe burst or some other facilities emergency or urgent situation at a school. But and I do know some of our employees live outside the county. Right. Some live in Worth County, some live in Lee County, some live in Mitchell. So you're suggesting that they should not take their vehicles home if they live outside the county limits, or should? Because I'm just trying to get an understanding.
Well, my question was, if they work for Dougherty County, and they have a take-home vehicle, that they cannot drive it to the county of residence. If they live in Lee County, they can't drive Dougherty County vehicle to Lee County or to Miller County or wherever they live. Okay.
So I understand. I think I understand what you're saying. The only concern I have with that is if they are in a response mode,
The rapid response.
then it would negatively impact response time if they had to respond to an incident. But if that's what the board wants, we can certainly, you adopt that, then we'll certainly enforce it. I don't think in general, I don't think I think that's the best approach. But if that's what the board wishes to do, we'll certainly enforce it if they adopt that policy. They had 3 people.
I know Dr. Hand was up.
Mr. Dyer, Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm using the example of facilities. How do they distinguish, is it by your title, by like supervisors? Oh, I'm sorry.
Supervisors are responsible for who are responsible for carrying or driving the vehicles home?
Yeah, the supervisors have, take on vehicles, but if you're in a position where you may have to respond, like a plumber, who may be on call if we have a pipe burst out of school.
Okay.
They will be allowed to take their vehicles on, if they're on call for that. Electrician, same thing.
Okay.
And so your groundskeepers, they wouldn't take vehicles home.
Right.
Your painters wouldn't take vehicles home, because they're not in a position where they would have to respond to an emergency.
Right.
But anyone who's in a position where they may have to respond to an emergency, they're allowed to take vehicles home. And if you have multiple people in that role, then we rotate who's allowed to take vehicles home.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Pastor Bush?
I just wanted to say that I agree with Mr. Dye. Thank you.
So I'm thinking what the board is needing just to submit them the rapid respond policy so they can review it and see what is the actual procedure of getting
We don't have a
done.
rapid response policy.
So can we
That's
may
an op-
need
that's-
something we need to
That's an
create.
operational procedure. And so
Well, you see-
if the board wants to adopt a policy that restricts taking vehicles home if you live out of county, that's something the board can certainly do. We don't have a policy that does it, that's more operational.
But I could ask, Madam Chair,
Yes.
since he explained the
Okay.
rapid response, I can understand. I just feel like there are some people abusing the privilege of taking cars home that live out the county.
So that would be the conversation, just to get with that board member to get more clarity if they need some.
All right.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I simply like to say that I support the superintendent. I certainly wouldn't want to see our team of experts hampered in their response. Simply stated, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and I don't think anyone was disagreeing, we needed clarity. Number 5, consideration recommendation, any other questions about number 4? Before I move on. Consideration recommendation to approve bid award for the building ground asbestos abatement of Sylvester Complex. Any questions? Sivendale.
I do have one question. What
And
is
I
the-
do too.
What is, Madam Chair?
Ms. Heath.
Yes. Mr. Superintendent, maybe you've stated it before, but just for clarity on my part, what are the plans for the Sylvandale building?
Yeah, that's our new, will be our new public safety complex. Our DCSS Police Department will be relocating there. They'll be sharing that space with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Office operation that is here in Dougherty County. The building that they're currently operating out of is jointly owned, I think, by the city, or by the county, I think, and they get funding from the city and county to operate it. But the building is in a state of, I don't say disrepair, but it's in a state of disrepair. And no sense of sugarcoating it. And we had other communities who had offered to let them have facilities in their county because they were inside that service area. And so we certainly didn't want to lose the GBI operation in Dougherty County. We were already looking at moving our DCSS Police Department or doing some renovations where they are because they need upgrades. And so we looked at that opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, relocate our DCSS PD, give them more suitable accommodations, relocate Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and maintain that resource in Dougherty County versus have it outside Dougherty County. And that would also facilitate opportunities for collaboration between GBI, particularly the gang task force portion of it, and our police department, and shared intelligence, things of that nature.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Hand? It was Ms. Utley? Okay. Ms. Utley?
Thank you. My question was answered in his response. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Board members, any other questions?
And that was not something I'm doing. The board did approve that.
Yes, we did.
Okay, all
And I
right.
thought it was a great
But I
partnership.
know we go through a lot, so you may not remember that. Yeah, right. I just want to make sure that you know what we need to just start doing it.
And I know our
And not for you, I'm saying for the public at large. Yeah.
6, consideration recommendation approval custodial service transition incentive plan. Can you please explain
ma'am.
for the people that are in the building
Yes, ma'am.
and on the back row?
As we,
And
yes, ma'am, as you know, the board approved, transition, of, custodial services to, we outsourced it, right sourced it to ABM. As part of that, we had, employees who, were at least, 5 years of experience with Dougherty County. They had the option to stay with Dougherty County on our payroll or transition to ABM. Yeah, those with fewer than 5 years, they, did not have that option. They would transfer to ABM. Although ABM does provide 4 weeks of leave annually, the vacation leave balances and sick leave balances that they have on with Dougherty County does not transfer to them. And so, of course, our vacation leave policy allows us to pay employees for up to 30 days at the time that their employment separates from Dougherty County school system. It does not allow that for sick leave. However, as we discussed previously, we did not want them to lose the benefit of what they earned from Dougherty County. And so the discussion that we had was paying them out for up to 30 days, mirroring the vacation leave policy, paying them up to 30 days of sick leave as well. And that was in a discussion when we talked about the transition. The other piece is the 403B. We have a 3-year vest for those employees. We contribute 5% of their pay to a supplemental retirement plan because they're participating in the public school employee retirement system, not the teacher retirement system. And that benefit is not nearly as good as the TRS. They get $17 times the years of service per month in retirement. So if they retire with 30 years of service, they would get $17 times 30 years, $510 per month gross in retirement. And so what this board did, in addition to several other things for our PSERS employees, was provide a 5% contribution to a 403B tax sheltered annuity for those employees as a supplemental retirement for them. And so what we are asking to do is eliminate that 3-year vest period so that they will be able to take that money with them. If they were here less than 3 years, fewer than 3 years, they will forfeit the balance of their 403B. We've already paid the money into it. And the reason that they're not here for more than 3 years is because that we facilitated a transfer to ABM. So I want them to be made whole, being able to invest immediately on the contribution that we made to them. And also because our policy doesn't allow the payment for sick leave, we need board action to allow that to happen, though we did discuss it as part of the transition. We didn't want to process those payments until the board formally approved that and give us authorization to do it. And that's not for everyone. That's the sick leave payout is just for those transitioning to ABM. Right.
Do you have a dollar amount?
It is, when we looked at it, I think it was $234,000 for every employee that, whether they transferred or not. So all custodians, the sick leave payout would be about $234,000. We had about half transition over. I did not look at those amounts, but we also saying that it was not a deadline on when you can decide to transfer. Some may decide to transfer next week. We have one that's going to transfer at the end of this month, and so at the time that they do the transfer, that they will be eligible for the sick leave that the value of the sick leave they have on file up to 30 days. So that's why we did it for the entire amount. That's the maximum amount if everybody decided to transfer, right? Which won't be the case.
Yeah, and then you get that cap on.
Right.
Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Dyer.
Ma'am.
Consideration number 7, consideration recommendation to approve fundraising request. Hear none. Mr. Dyer, financial report.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's really the one you've seen before with a few changes to it as we go through and close out the fiscal year, which is the deadline to close the fiscal year. Is it still September 30th? September 18th. Yeah, it's been a long time since I worked down there. I gotta make sure I ask that question. It used to be September 30th. And, since they have better folks in finance than I was down there, they can do it quicker than September 30th, so I appreciate that. I joke with Ms. Hatch all the time, until she's the second best CFO we ever had in the school system. But
Compared to.
we won't say anything about that. But no, she really is doing a great job. They all do a great job, and they have a sense of humor. They even laugh at my jokes when they're not funny. So the humor, man, I appreciate that. But no, unless anyone has any comments, questions, I don't have any comments on the financial report.
Okay. Is there any committee reports?
Mr. Dye, can you state how much money we have in reserve for the record?
Yes, sir. We're looking at about a little less than $34 million, $33,700,000 and some change is what we're projecting.
The reason I said it is that if you had a minus, everyone that people you saying you can't manage.
True.
And now they want you to not save money, but they want you to spend money.
But I have a finance committee chair who is pretty resolute in his opinion about fiscal conservatism and fiscal responsibility, and so.
What they cried and watched.
Yes. I changed the fiscal responsibility instead of conservatism.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Bush. I can always depend on you to say that for the 17th year, and it sounds good. The more it gets better and better over time. So thank you, sir, for always keeping Mr. Dyer and his finance team on their toes.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 10, board items discussion. Superintendent report. Are you ready for your report, Mr. Dyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we get the lights dim? Thank you, Ms. Terrence. And I didn't do that this time, Ms.
Am I doing it right? Okay. All righty. All right, Terrence, am I sharing or you sharing? All right, okay, all right. All right, superintendent's update for August 27th. The vision of the Dougherty County School System is that we are a destination school system that in collaboration with families and community partners provides quality education and social development experiences that empowers graduates to be successful and impactful contributors to society. Our mission is to meet the academic and non-academic needs of our students with rigorous and relevant educational experiences that equip them to succeed in life. Of course, our strategic priorities are early literacy, academic rigor and relevance, student wellness, investment in human capital, and family and community engagement. And here you see our vision, our mission, our strategic priorities, and our core beliefs in one document. And those will be posted in our schools sometime. The goal is to do before December. We've seen the sample posters and the frames, and we're going to let the principals choose which frames they want to make sure it matches their decor as best as possible, and then we have those up. So thank you, Dr. Finley, again for that, and we look forward to having those up as a constant reminder to those who enter our buildings about our purpose, our priorities, and our core beliefs. Topics of discussion today: policy revisions update. Dr. Finley already took care of that during the presentation portion. We'll go over our strategic plan update very quickly, discuss our legislative priorities, both state and federal, to get feedback from board members before we finalize those in the next couple of months. We'll have a brief discussion on our property reassessment, which we had nothing to do with, by the way. Celebration and announcements, and then an executive session for personnel and safety if the board sees fit. Our strategic plan priority number 2, academic rigor and relevance. When we had some discussions about our Georgia milestones reports, and I think at the next Instructional Accountability Committee meeting, Dr. Chun and her team will have discussion of data in that regard. And we talked about that briefly last time, and we talked about graduation rates and the fact that our graduation rate has exceeded the state average for, I think, 6-7 consecutive years. We're looking forward to that happening again this year. And there's been some talk, I don't listen to a lot of talk, but I do listen to talk about saying, well, the high school diploma don't really mean anything if the students can't do certain other things. And so we just want to let you see that our dual enrollment, our students, not only do they graduate with high school diplomas, you've seen our dual enrollment increase at Albany Tech, meaning they're getting college education, college credentials, as well as the high school credentials. So from 2023 to 2026, you see the growth in Albany dual enrollment courses from Dougherty County School System students at Albany Tech. Dougherty High went from 138 in 2023 to 257. That's an 86% increase over those 4 years. Monroe from 96 to 213, almost 122% increase. Westover went from 187 to almost 300. Again, a 58% increase. And overall, Dougherty County went from 421 dual enrollment students to over 760 dual enrollment students, 82% increase in dual enrollment students. So not only are they getting diplomas, they're getting college credit at the same time. And that just shows you from in a graphical presentation what that looks like. So thanks to our high school counselors, our College and Career Academy staff, and our partners at Albany Tech for reducing barriers to entry, providing support for these students. And we'll continue to see those numbers increase as Dr. Griswold and I have committed to making sure that we provide every opportunity for our students to get college credit while they're in school. It does not. Yeah. Right, it does not. Right. Yep, that's right. And then also another piece, we talk about college credit and TCCs. We had this discussion earlier too. DCSS school students earning a credential of value. A credential of value is an industry recognized credential. That's in addition to the TCCs and things of that nature. So you'll see in 2023, we don't have the 2026 figures yet. The latest figures available from DOE are 2025, because they have to wait and get the information from some of the colleges where they earn these credentials. So we went from 186 in 2023 to 461 in 2025. That's an increase of almost 148% over a 3-year period. So again, kudos to our students first for showing the initiative to do this, but also to our high school leadership, including our counselors and our team members at College and Career Academy, as well as the other agencies that provide the training for these credentials of values to be earned. So thank you very much. And again, that's the relevance piece of our academic rigor and relevance. It really means a lot when they graduate with a credential of value, saying that they're prepared to go into the workforce and perform. So thank you for that. The strategic priority number 5, I'll go through this quickly because we talked about it last meeting. Villa, it kicks off next week on Thursday, right here in this room. We'll talk about the lay of the land. We have, I think, 22 participants. We've got one more today. I meet monthly with community leaders from ASU, Albany Tech, Phoebe, Marine Base, City County Government, Chamber, EDC. We meet, yes ma'am, we meet for breakfast once a month. And I reserved 3 spots for people in their organizations to be a part so they can learn about the school system. So we had 1 committed today. We anticipate 2 other slots being filled, so we should have about 25 slots of community members participating in our Villa program this year.
Is that the total amount that you have?
Yes, that's the maximum amount that we will want. We don't want to make it so big that so large that we can't get engagement and interaction. So instead of doing once a year like we initially started, we're going to do twice a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. So we'll look to get up to 50 people per year go through this program.
Madam Chair, question?
Yes, Ms. Hutley.
Thank you. Mr. Dyer, is there a point at which those individuals who have participated in Villa will have an opportunity to liquidate those previous ones?
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad you asked that. Part of our program, Ms. Laura Washington is leading that effort, and so we've already discussed having the alumni from Villa come back and engage with the current cohort at one of the sessions to talk about what they learned and the impact it's had on them. And so we didn't know whether we'd do it at the first session or the graduation or at a session in between. So we're looking at that. But yes, she certainly has that on her list, and we plan on doing that, inviting them back.
And I'm just anxious to see what they see as being something they could do to embellish our efforts in the community.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any more questions about Villa? If not, move on to our legislative priorities. Again, every year we produce a list of priorities. In addition to our strategic priorities, we look at our legislative priorities annually. And so this year, what we're proposing, again, this is for board feedback, and we can certainly revise this list if the board sees fit to add something or take something away. You know, in the past, we've looked at expanding our early learning opportunities by expanding pre-K, the traditional pre-K program. And over the last 8 years, 9 years, we've increased pre-K slots by more than any other school system in the state per capita. And we're proud of that. We also know there are opportunities for additional expansion. And with birth rates declining across the country, and with the lottery money being at an all-time high, that's how pre-K is funded. We see an opportunity to expand, not necessarily by more 4-year-old classes, but by going back to pick up 3-year-olds. And so, as you know, we talk about the challenges of our community quite a bit. One of those challenges is poverty. And that impacts, and we've talked about the impact it has on student achievement. We also talked about the impact of leadership and adequate resources that are being targeted, how that can help negate the impact of poverty. But, and we're still moving in that direction. We also think that if we give students an opportunity to get into a formal educational setting earlier, that'll help build that foundation, and that also help negate the impact of poverty because some parents have to make a decision on whether they put kids in a quality daycare or a child development center or pay for groceries or a light bill. And so, and that's just a reality. And so, we can expand to pre-K 3, at least on a pilot basis. And that's what I'm going to propose to the state, if the board sees fit, that we start a pre-K 3 program and we track the progress of those students as they in their readiness for kindergarten and their academic outcomes in the later grades. So we believe that starting earlier will provide that foundation that they need to help them be successful academically throughout their K through 12 career. So that's priority. It's a spin on the previous priority. We're expanding pre-K, not just expanding the traditional pre-K, but also going back to pick up 3-year-olds. Right. The other priority would be our QBE modernization. Of course, adding that poverty weight. Georgia, again, is one of 6 states in the country that doesn't have a poverty weight in its education funding formula. And we've discussed that at length, the impact that we could have and the impact that we have had locally by investing in additional resources, and that we believe strongly that if the QBE formula was changed to increase, to add that weight, that we can scale that impact not only across Dougherty County, but across the state of Georgia, and that our students who are in poverty, the academic outcomes, we've shared that data, and for those that haven't seen it, I'll share it briefly. There is about a 55-point gap between schools with a high percentage of students in poverty and students with low percentage of students in poverty when it comes to 3rd grade reading proficiency and ELA proficiency. And that's over an 8-year longitudinal study as published by the Georgia, the Governor's Office of Student Achievement, formerly known as, now it's called the Governor's Office of Education and Workforce Strategies. So that's not Dougherty County data, that's statewide data. You know, there's international data that tracks it, it'll probably show the same thing. And so we think that's the reality, but it doesn't have to be. And with properly placed resources, we believe that we can narrow that gap. We've shown we could do it with those 3 pilot programs we did there. That's right. We've done it. And with those 3 schools, Alice Coachman, Robert Harvey, and Turner. And so we're going to continue to advocate for that. And then also technology. The funding formula also does not have a weight for technology. And as we continue to move into a digital age, a lot of our resources are based on our network and our technology infrastructure. And there's nothing in the state formula that helps us to maintain that. And so we want to make sure we advocate modernizing our QB formula for at least those two factors. Next, extending the teacher pay scale, which was on our legislative priorities for last year. Right now, our teacher pay scale stops at step 21. And arguably, some of our most valuable teachers are the ones who are the veteran teachers, who mentor the younger teachers, not only about instructional practices, but also about how to manage classroom, manage the pressures of being a teacher. And so by stopping the teacher pay scale at step 21, we may send the wrong message that we don't value you beyond that, and we certainly do. So we're going to continue to advocate for extending that pay scale to at least step 30. And then, of course, our state health benefit plan, Hope was saying some of the things I've been saying for the last several years about the increase in state health benefit plan payments is more than doubled over the last 6 years. And so we're going to, again, ask the state to participate in that cost for school systems at the 25% level, which is what they did prior to FY 2012. And it's interesting to note, I don't know why yet, but I'm going to do some research. Other state agencies, they have state health benefit plans too. It's a different plan than school system plans. They've had a significant reduction in their premiums, significant reduction. I happen to be have a privilege of serving on the privilege of serving on the TRS board of trustees, and part of that responsibility is to look at the budget. And I saw with our Division of Investment Services budget proposal that there are significant savings in personnel, even when we're adding positions and giving pay increases. And that was because of the significant reduction in the state health benefit plan costs. And so I did not ask for details at their meeting, because that was not, I didn't need them. But I am going to ask for the details to see exactly how much they're being reduced, and then know why. I know there are two separate plans, and maybe the cost of our plan is that much more than other state agencies' plan, but we'll certainly look at that and see where we are. Yes, ma'am. And then, so those are our state priorities that we identified. Again, we still having discussions. Those are the four that we have discussed, and certainly welcome any thoughts from the board, either here now or some other time. If you want us to look at any other state priorities. Of course, we don't want to have 10 of them. We want to have ones that we can get data around and get advocacy for, and make the case. Because if we have 10 priorities, the question is, do we really have any? So we want to make sure we keep them to no more than 5 if possible. But I think this is a good number. And if we have any others, please let us know.
Mr. Superintendent, you have a question from Pastor Bush?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I noted with interest that Mr. Dye mentioned quality several times in his talk about the state legislative priorities. And I was reflecting and thinking about the long-term substitute teachers that we have. You know, if not, why the state is not trying to help us retain quality people by giving them just a little bit more money. It's $100 just, you know, it's no money. And to me, a substitute teacher is very important, and they are essential, because many of them, they do it a whole year. And $100, how many in here will work for $100 a day? Raise your hand, I dare you. Brother Dye.
We'll do it for the children, Reverend Bush. We do it for the children.
Brother Dye just told a big story. And, you know, I just wish that there was some way that if the state, somebody could come up with something to retain these good people, not just getting somebody to sit in the class. And I tend to think that if you give them a little more cushion, just a little bit more. And it would just be an incentive for the community, for this county, in my opinion. I'm sorry, Mr. Dyer, I'm a soapbox, but I just heard you say quality several times. Thought I'd get that off my chest.
Right. And then the federal priorities include the title funding, and I was going to put I had a parentheses there. I was going to put a lot of things in there, but I realized it was too long, and I didn't close that, take that open parentheses off. But the things I want to talk about is the federal funding. I mentioned this earlier. The U.S. House budget recommendation for the FY 28 budget includes an $8.1 billion reduction in title funding, $1.6 billion reduction in Title 1A, Title 2A, which is for teacher training, Title 3A, which is for our English language learners, and Title I migrant grant are all slated for a complete elimination. And that will be, again, that's the U.S. House budget recommendation for FY 28. Have not seen the Senate version yet. They have not developed one. And so just, and I don't know if that will pass. I think by the time you go through the legislative process, it won't be, I'm hoping it won't be as drastic as that. But as I've heard before, hope is not a strategy. And so as we look at what's being proposed, I think the time to take action and advocate is now, not after a vote's been taken and it's too late.
So we're on our way to the heat.
Yeah. We've been there. I've been there. I was there this summer as part of my responsibility with WSA and that board, and so we met with several members of the Georgia delegation and received good feedback from those we spoke with. But that is not enough. Advocacy is not one meeting and an email thanking them. It's continuous communication. And so we certainly want to raise that sound that alarm so that we can continue to advocate and for the children that we serve every day. And then the other one I think I mentioned earlier as well is E-rate. E-rate, if you know the cell phone bill that you get, you see that FCC fee, that funds E-rate. E-rate is not an appropriation of taxes. It comes from the fee. And there's been a proposal from the administration to let E-rate sunset. And E-rate funds technology infrastructure for schools and libraries, public schools and libraries. And so the network infrastructure that we have here is funded in large part with our E-rate funding. This year, which is a typical year, we received a little more than $2 million in E-rate funding. Is that not right, Mr. Fields, about $2 million? And so if we lost that funding, we would have to replace that with something because the investments in technology cannot stop. They have to continue. And so as Hope was saying about the need for reserves, if we did not have reserves, we would have many options but to raise taxes or not make the investments. And although we do have the reserves, a healthy reserve, we can't rely on those to make investments ongoing. They can serve as a bridge to get from one point to another. And that's what we've been using those funds for. We'll continue to do that, bless you. But these are some things that are very high on our priority list because of the potential impact it would have if we lost that federal funding. And so I want to make sure and that's the reason I want to look at the poverty rate in QBE and the technology rate in QBE. Because if we do lose a significant portion of the federal funding, then having it in our state funding formula would certainly be beneficial to us. Madam Chair, any questions about the proposed legislative priority, state or federal? Again, it's not speak now, but hold your peace. Of course, if you have any feedback later, feel free to let me know, and we'll continue to revise this list. I just found out this morning that I think the tentative date for the meeting with the state local delegation is December 2nd. That conflicts with our Georgia School Boards Association annual conference in Atlanta. So I'm trying to figure out how we'll do that. I know we have very capable people here to make the presentation as they did before. I know Dr. Finley and Mr. Davis and presented before. Dr. Chun has been there when we presented last year, so I know they're quite capable of doing it. But with that being said, I think it's something also was of the something of the magnitude of the potential negative impact. I think I need to show my face at that as well. So I'll probably end up coming back and driving back up just to make sure we make this presentation. If the December 2nd is the day that holds firm, so we'll make sure we put the best foot forward, and unless I'm there, then we put our second best foot forward. But either way, we'll be in good shape and make our presentation. And I know sometimes board members attend those sessions, but I think you'll be going through your professional development and getting your required hours. So I don't know if you will be able to attend that, but we'll certainly let them know why you're not there if you can attend. And we have to do a better job of communicating our dates before they set these dates, so that we'll make sure we can all be there if we need to. Any more questions about that? If not,
Madam Chair.
He,
Mrs. Superintendent, the questions that I have are in the upper part of your report.
okay.
When you stated that the snapshot of the strategic plan for DCSS, right there, would be in all the schools, is there any way that we could invest in having that same picture on some type of card that we could share with businesses so that they would be aware of what it is we're doing and where we are?
Yes, ma'am. Consider it done.
Okay, thank you, sir. Number two, I listen every Sunday to Topics That Matter, and we brought this before you some months ago of featuring our school system on that show, and I've yet to hear any information given to them. They've agreed to share it.
Yeah, and I've spoken with them. I'm trying to get a schedule, and I'm trying to align that with other media opportunities with WLB, the Albany Herald, and with Topics That Matter, as well as with Southwest Georgia. So we're trying to get our dates set up, so it'll be a series of public information sharing versus just one-offs here or there. So I do know I've spoken with at least one of the hosts, and they know I'm interested in participating. We're just trying to get the right dates, so it'll be a sequence of dates, and that I don't want to use the word inundate the community with information, but saturate the community with relevant information about the school system. Right. Yes, ma'am. So that is
A media blitz.
media blitz.
well, just know that your school board is represented on that Sunday call.
Yes, okay, got it.
Just have to make sure they let her know she on there. I'm trying to go incognito, but we're there to listen.
And I've been on there before, and I enjoyed the time I've been on there, and I'm looking forward to being on there again. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
The last concern, when Dougherty County implements the pre-K3 program, will that be certified teachers?
Yes, ma'am. We currently use certified teachers for our pre-K, although it's not required.
Right.
And our intent will be to, and again, I appreciate you speaking that into existence as if it's going to happen. We're going to claim that. We're going to advocate and get the state funding for it because it doesn't exist.
Right.
And so where they say where there's not a trail to their destination, you make one. And we don't mind being trailblazers. So we're going to blaze that trail to a pre-K3 program. And so when that happens, our intent will be to have certified teachers. But I can't say right now whether it'll be a definite. But that'll certainly be our goal. But at least they'll be credentialed with the minimum credentials that are required by be a curated child development center. Yes, ma'am. But currently, it's not required for pre-K teachers either. But all of our pre-K teachers are certified.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Dyer?
Let's see, countywide property assessments. For anybody that's listening,
Please, for the ones in the back and at
please
the
know
doctor's office.
that I don't wanna say we had nothing to do with that, but I will say it's kind of joking. I think everybody knows that. But there's been some discussion about the increase in assessment values that the hand has us. Yeah, and so it's been 17 years, I think, if I'm correct, since we had a county-wide reassessment. And so some of the values, the assessed values have increased significantly. And I would venture to say they've increased to the point where they're above market. Because a lot of the people who've gotten those assessments, I couldn't sell my house for that. Yeah. And if I could, I'd tell you, I send it back to the county. I send it to you right now for that amount. And so there's going to be some discussion about that. We have not gotten our tax digest yet. Have we gotten that yet? Yeah, we would get a tax digest, preliminary tax digest from the tax office. We have not gotten that yet. Once we get that, we will do our analysis, and we can anticipate how many years have we rolled the millage rate back? 8 consecutive years. We can anticipate a 9th consecutive year, and it'll probably be the largest rollback that reduction that we've seen. Will it go back to the rollback rate that's required to not advertise the tax increase? I don't know yet, because we have a minimum millage rate that we have to levy in order to qualify for equalization. And if we levy less than that minimum millage rate, then we would take a 25% reduction in our equalization. Also, based on the way the equalization is funded, it is funded based on your tax effort, and the tax effort, your tax value is the amount that each meal is worth. The tax effort is measured by the meals that you levy. And so what happens is, if our value per meal, weighted average per meal, is less than the state average, then for every meal we levy, again, this is math lesson, maybe going over your head, but that's okay. For every meal we levy, then we'll get that difference. So if our meal is valued at, like it used to be valued at a little more than $2 million, and the state's meal is valued at averaging $3 million per meal, and we levied 15 meals, then we would get that $1 million difference times the 15 meals that we levied, mean we'll get $15 million. So if our valuation goes up and our millage rate goes down, the gap between our value per meal and the state value per meal is probably going to be reduced. And to reduce our millage rate, then the amount of meals we multiply times that difference is going to be reduced as well. So we have to be very careful in our calculation to ensure that we don't change our millage rate to the fact that we go underwater. And so that's a pretty complicated calculation with a lot of inputs. And so once we get our tax digest, we'll do those calculations, and I'll do them. I have the folks back there do them. I get somebody from the outside to do them, and we'll do some projections, and then we'll figure out where we are on that. And I still like doing that stuff every now and then. Keeps me sharp, in case I have to find a job one day in finance. So that's where we are. I do anticipate a significant reduction in our millage rate because of the significant increase in the tax digest. What exactly that is, I don't know, but I will say this: this board has demonstrated its commitment to taxpayer relief by reducing the millage rate for 8 consecutive years, and with a commitment from our individual commitment from our finance committee chair that he's not voting to raise taxes. And so we've never asked him to do that, and we're going to continue to keep that same spirit and position as we move forward with a more definite recommendation. So that's all. I just want to say that. I know it's not a lot of information because we haven't received the information yet, but I know it's a discussion that's going on in the community, and I wanted to make sure you understood where we were in terms of what we want to propose that we do. So if anybody asks you a question about it, you can give them those talking points.
No, I just get quiet at this point because of the doctor's office.
Right.
That's what I did. I referred them to the county tax office.
Can you quickly again, what were the parameters involving Albany High School closing? Why we closed that school?
Yes, sir. Ms. Heath, you okay with it?
No.
Okay, all right. The parameters were, when I was in school back in the olden days, as my kids say, we had about 18,000, almost 19,000 students in the Dougherty County school system. And when the board accepted the recommendation from the late great Dr. Mosley, who accepted the recommendation from me, I own that, that we closed some schools. It was because we were at about 14,000 students. And we had more schools with 14,000 students than we did when we had 19,000 students. The base size for a high school in the state of Georgia to receive full funding is 970. And although Albany High was approaching 500, the enrollments at the other high schools made our average, kept our average above 970. But with a declining population in Southwest Georgia in general, and we're not immune to that, we had gotten to the point where our average was less than 970 for 4 high schools. And so we were not getting funded to support 4 high schools. And with if that was a blip in the radar, that's one thing, but that was a trend that we saw, and it was going to continue to decline, which it has. Then we made the recommendation to repurpose that building, the same as we did with the Southside building, same as we did with the Dougherty Middle building, same as we did with Magnolia building, because we saw that we were paying for operations for buildings that were, in some cases, less than a fourth occupied. And so, not a easy decision, not one we took lightly, but we made the recommendation because we thought that was in the best interest of the school system long term. And so that's why we did that, Reverend Bush, because our enrollment dictated to us at least that there was a need to make those decisions and that we could save a lot of money without compromising educational quality, because the schools would still not be overcrowded. We had capacity to absorb those students and still have room. And so we did that as an administration. We made that recommendation. The board had the courage to raise their hand and make those votes, even though it wasn't popular. And part of that $33,754,000 projected fund balance that you just asked me about is because the board made those tough decisions years ago that impacted the bottom line to position us to be as healthy as we are now financially. So I hope I answered your question, and so I appreciate that question. Although I wasn't expecting it, I do appreciate the opportunity to discuss that every now and then. And I know I had to take on Ms. Heath as a proud Albany High alum, and coming from me, who also attended Albany High for 2 years, along with Dr. Hand, who was the principal, assistant principal there. I was mad at myself for about 2 or 3 days when we closed it, but I had to get over it because I knew that was in the best interest of the school system and the children that we serve. We're focused on our future. Although we recognize our past.
Another big alumni over there was Mr. Jerry Grunberg.
Yes, so he wasn't happy either.
He was adamantly against it until I told him we were going to have to raise his tax.
All right. Any more questions?
No, sir.
All right. Next, ma'am, celebrations and announcements. This is a quick review of our mentor teachers who support our teachers. These are the veteran teachers that we talked about earlier with 21 years ago. A lot of them have more than 21 years of service. It's just a quick video showing the session that they had with our mentor teachers who provide support for our induction phase teachers. And then our new teacher PL. And then our first DCSS Moments event of the year was our employee game night. I was at the Westover game against a team out of Atlanta. Westover won 30-12, and we had a great time as we usually do. We braved the weather. That was started out pretty rough, but it ended up being okay. And I want to thank Mr. Fields, who was on popcorn duty. He boxed us with all the popcorn we served, and Ms. Hutley and Dr. Hand, who did the best hot dog rapping I've ever seen. That's right. and I was just trying to stay out of the way. So we enjoyed the time engaging with employees of the Dougherty County School System. I think they enjoyed seeing us back there serving the concessions, and so we had a great time again. And I think this was the first time at an employee appreciation night game that the home team, the good guys, won. So Coach Chun said we should have had Westover all the games. We always won. But anyway, we'll look at that. But so we'll see. And also, you see that bottom right, that bottom left-hand corner, you see a picture there with Coach Chun in the middle, Dr. Chun on the side, and his daughter Ashley and her husband, Mr. Bryant, Reverend Bryant, next to her. Coach Chun received our Impact Award, as you know, at the leadership, at the kickoff. I've been trying to get him that award for I don't know how long, and started in May, and he was out at the board meeting. And I tried to do it at the kickoff. He was out with family illness, and I finally surprised him at a principal's meeting, and so then he wanted to get a better picture. When I went to Westover one day, he wanted a picture with the towel, so we took that picture. But we also had some things in mind that we were finally able to do. And I don't know if can I do this, Mr. Fields? Do I need to get out of the sharing piece? And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stop sharing here. I think. No, I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, we did a video, and I'll send it to you. We did a video tribute to Coach Chun. We were in a long time. We did a video tribute to Coach Chun that included me giving some opening remarks and welcoming all of our employees to the DCSS Moments event. And then we had videos from his baby sister from Arkansas, who sent us a video recording, a video from a young man who, former member of the Harlem Globetrotters, who's from Coach Chun's hometown, who talked about remembering when Coach Chun used to come back when he first started coaching to speak to his team, his basketball team at the high school. And he said, I still remember, you told him he was a legend and he made an impact on those kids. And then also a message, who couldn't be there in person and couldn't do a video, but she sent a statement, former Superintendent Sally Watley, who was the superintendent who recommended Coach Chun in his principalship at Westover. And so we had all that done, and some still photos of him during his time as a track coach and head football coach at Monroe, as well as when he was a young principal at Westover. So I think he enjoyed that. We shared that video with them as we teach that with him. He started his 41st year with Dougherty County School System this year, 19th year as principal at Westover. So I think that's the longest serving tenure at one school. Although Dr. Shoemaker will be quick to tell you, she's been principal for 22 years, just at about 3 or 4 schools, I think. Yeah. But she'll be quick to tell you she's the longest serving principal. And so I want to make sure I state that for the record. But he's the longest serving principal at one school, and he deserves that recognition. And he's done a great job as he continues to lead the University of Westover.
Yes, God.
And then also Amber Herring. When you do good things, people see you and they ask you to share. Amber Herring, who's our coordinator for structural innovation, who leads our AI strategy for the district, she was asked to serve on a panel at the conference of the National Association of Black Journalists. It was held in Atlanta. So it was moderated by NBC News' Chanel Jones, and she presented with 3 other people who focus on innovation, particularly in education. And so she was a contributing member of that panel. And so we certainly want to congratulate her on representing herself and the Dougherty County School System and education in general very well during that national conversation about the future of education. And then finally, our Officers of the Month for the DCSS Police Department, Sam Hill, Sheldon Johnson, and our Communications Officer, Brandon Salter. Congratulations to them on being recognized as the Officers of the Month for the month of August for DCSS PD. And I'm gonna keep this up until we kick off. Just a reminder that our Trailblazers, DCSS Trailblazers, our adaptive sports program, the first in Southwest Georgia, first south of Macon and Columbus, will kick off this year. And for our students who have special needs, who want to participate and have an opportunity to win Georgia High School Association state championships in either wheelchair football, wheelchair basketball, or wheelchair handball. So looking forward to that, the kickoff of that season, and we'll be there to cheer them on. Speaking of which, we kicked off, we hosted our first volleyball match with Dougherty County. Westover had a club volleyball team the last 2 years. This year, Westover and Dougherty and Monroe launched volleyball as a sport, and Dougherty hosted the first ever volleyball match for Dougherty County school system. I was able to attend. We didn't win, but we looked good, and so we had a good showing. And with a couple more years of foundation being laid, I think that we will be very competitive in the volleyball arena. So, Madam Chair, that's all I have, unless you have any questions. And if not, we could go into executive session. I don't anticipate any action coming out of the executive session. So if you want to go through with the meeting to get the action items out of the way and then have an executive session afterwards, that's certainly up to the board's discretion.
Board members, what is your?
Yeah, if we don't anticipate action, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So do we need a break to do consent agenda, start the meeting?
Can we take a break after we do consent agenda?
Okay. Okay, so we will begin our board meeting after, and I want to hit the gavel for the time frame. Welcome to the public to the regular board meeting of the Dougherty County School System. I call this meeting to order. Do we have any can we please stand for a moment of silence, silence your phone, and the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Superintendent, do we have any public comments or presentations?
No, ma'am.
Okay, do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move the adoption of the agenda.
Second the motion.
It's been properly moved and second to adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Agenda is approved. Do we have any changes to the minutes of the regular board meeting held on August 10, 2026? If not, can someone enter a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes. All opposed? Okay, minutes approved. Can I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items 2 through 5?
Madam Chair, I move the adoption of the consent agenda.
I second.
It's been properly moved and second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Did you say items 2 through 5?
2 through 5, because then I'll do
5.
6A and C separate.
2 through 5.
2 through, because 6A is the incentive. We want to pull it out to ensure that that was.
It can be part of the consent if you want to. It's up to the board.
I just want to make sure that was said out to the public so they'll know that we are okay with that before they stop you in the grocery store. So can I get approved for items 2 through 5? Did we get them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all in favor?
And
Aye.
yeah,
All
and number
opposed?
7. Can we do number 7 too?
Well, I was gonna do 6A and 7. 6 and 7 together, since I missed it. Well, 2 through 5 and 7.
Okay.
I think you have to make sure that's what the intent of the motion.
That was the
So then-
intent,
Who made the motion?
Miss
I did.
Miss Hudley.
Okay.
So 2 through 5 and 7 together, which is the fundraiser request. Are you okay with that motion? You want to do it again, Miss Hudley? To make sure we all clear 2 through 5 and 7.
I move the adoption of the consent agenda to include 2 through 5 and 7.
Who second?
I think. Ms. Stroster, didn't you second it? If not, I will.
Okay.
Second by Dean Fennis. It's been properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. The motion. Now, can I enter a motion for agenda item 6? Consideration recommendation for approval custodial service transition incentive plan.
Madam Chair, I move the adoption of the consent agenda to include item 6.
I second.
It's been properly second. Adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Ms. Superintendent or board members, do we have any announcements or comments? Okay, can I get a motion to go in executive session to discuss personnel
And property.
and property?
No.
It was
Personnel
personnel.
safety.
Personnel and safety.
Personnel and safety. I make a motion to go into executive session for personnel and safety.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. We are now in executive session. Mr. Favors, can you please assist us? Frazier.